Hi guys, it's late July and fall food plot season has begun. I've been going hard these past few days with rain in the forecast for the next few. Seems to happen like that all year. You're waiting, and then all of a sudden it's go time and there's not enough hours in the day. So anyway, I'm out here. I showed this plot a couple weeks ago on a video. It's a multi-year clover chicory plot that's just phenomenal. I just mowed it, so it's hard to tell how well it's doing, but I'll show. There's a little spot there by the camera that I didn't mow. I mean, it's killer deer in here. I went back to the truck and the deer had already come back out in that short time frame. But when I showed that video, if you remember, I did this with minimal equipment in less than an hour. And I said that this other half that I'm looking at right here was going to be brassicas, and I was planning on coming in and tilling it and all that type of stuff, but I figured after I posted this video about doing this with minimal equipment, I got a ton of messages, so it seems there's a lot of interest in just going step by step through the method I used to establish the clover chicory there, because it's really as easy as it gets. So I'm going to go ahead and do this other half in brassicas and the rut greens blend the same way. One caveat, I did come in and spray this a while back. I mowed it and then sprayed it, so I got a little bit of a head start, but it's been a while and it's starting to green up, as you can see, so I'm going to treat it just like I would if it was the first time. And so as I go through this, I'll talk through it. There's a turkey over in the multi-year right now. I don't know if you can see it all the way straight past the camera, but as I go through this, remember that every situation is a little bit different, so the same method might not work. This kind of food plotting in general, it depends what you're working with. So I'll talk through what I have going on in this setup and maybe talk through a couple other things you might face depending on the spot you're in. This, you can see it's a lot of grass, not too many broadleaves, a lot of canary grass in this area. And the key is, one of the biggest questions I got, I'm going to start by spraying. And so one of the biggest questions I got after showing that previous one is, what do you spray that you can lay down seed right away, as in the same day? This, I'm just going to go with a heavy dose of glyphosate. Glyphosate's a contact killer, so there's not going to be any residual soil activity. I'm going to be able to spray this and seed right away. In fact, I could spray on top of the seed if I wanted to, and it's not going to have any effect on that. So as long as you're using a contact killer and not something that has residual, you're fine to seed right away. Now, if you are dealing with a spot that's got either a bunch of really tall vegetation, tall weeds, it would be best if you could mow it first and then maybe wait a week and then spray it. That's going to give you your best kill. If you're dealing with a spot that has a lot of Roundup or glyphosate tolerant species, a lot of broadleaves, you might be best off doing a Roundup and 2,4-D combo to kill everything. And in that case, I would wait maybe 10 days before you seed, just to let that 2,4-D residual get out of there. But in my case, I'm going to try to do everything basically in half an hour. I'm going to spray, I'm going to seed, I'm going to fertilize, I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to show a ton of footage. I'm fighting a lot of different things. One, I'm fighting incoming darkness, incoming thunderstorms, just overall worn out, mosquitoes, a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna not film a ton here by myself, but I'm gonna try to talk through it real quick if I can, before I get started. So first, the backpack sprayer. I've got this little 4-gallon electric backpack sprayer. It's so much nicer than the hand pump ones. I've used those plenty of times, but these electric ones are the way to go. Rechargeable battery. The one modification I made to this one, which seemed to be popular from the last video, is this 3-nozzle boom attachment. This makes it so much nicer. I can't overstate that, compared to a single nozzle where you're waving it back and forth. You're not getting good coverage. You're walking through your spray, one, this is a lot better coverage. If you want to test it, go just spray water on your driveway and notice the pattern difference between this and a single nozzle. I mean, the coverage is so much better. And two, this allows me to hold it off on the side and still get a really good swath, so I'm not walking through the chemical I'm spraying. And I can walk one way, switch hands, come back, switch hands, go back, and so that way I'm always walking alongside of what I'm spraying, and I'm not walking right through the chemical. So this 3 nozzle boom is really the ticket. I'll leave a link to that in the description for you guys that have been asking or looking for it. Like I said, I'm gonna do a heavy dose of glyphosate. My sprayer, this sprayer, I have it calibrated to where this 4 gallons is going to get me 1/4 acre of coverage. Average walking speed of 3 miles an hour. Again, 4 gallons. I can cover 1/4 of an acre. So this plot is 3/4 of an acre, which means I'm going to have to spray this and fill up 2 more times. I have water back at the truck. So 3 fill-ups will get me this entire 3/4 acre food plot. So I'm gonna get my gly added here and get going, knock this out, spray the whole thing, and then I'll come back and talk about the fertilizer and the seed. All right, the spraying is done. I'm gonna try to hurry because I can hear the thunder rolling in the distance. So rain is on its way. Next, it doesn't really matter if you seed first or fertilize first. I usually spray first just to give that chemical time to dry on the leaves, but I think I'm gonna seed first and then fertilize on top of that. There's most of the areas it's pretty open, the seed's gonna get to that soil. Some of the areas are kind of grassy, so I figure I might as well seed first, and as I'm walking around fertilizing, I'm gonna be kicking some of that seed beneath the debris and onto the soil where I need it. So I have 2 different broadcast seeders here. One I use for fertilizer, the chest mounted one, holds a little bit more, and then for the seed I use a bag seeder. I just feel like I have good control on the rate, which is obviously important for the seed. The fertilizer I'm using, I'm going to do 200 pounds of this 18-10-18 to start out with. I may come back after these brassicas have sprouted and germinated and either top dress them with a urea like a 4600, or I also like coming back and spraying a foliar fertilizer so that the leaves just absorb it and you don't really need the rain. So I'll kind of see how it does after germination, decide on that, but for now I'm going to start with 200 pounds of the 18-10-18. And then the seed itself, I'm using the Rut Greens Cold Climate Blend. This is 9 pounds per acre. I got 2 4.5 pound, 2 half-acre bags here. I'm only going to use 1.5 bags of that for this 3/4 acre. So with these Rut Greens, or really any brassica blends, you do not want to overseed. You want to get that seed rate just right. Because those brassicas need room, and you're really just gonna, the more seed you lay on, you're gonna create too much competition and kind of stunt the growth and not let them reach their size potential. So make sure you follow the recommended rates. Like I said, on the Rut Greens it's 9 pounds per acre. So that's it. And I guess the other big thing too to remember, it's all about seed to soil contact. So like I said, pretty good here, but if you had, let's say, a bunch of dead thatch, you could light fire to it and burn it off so you have better access to the soil. Sometimes I've even, in a situation like this, if I'm doing like a 1-day food plot, I'll just find a branch, better, the more leafy and bushy it is, the better, but I'll just drag it around, and as it drags, it kind of knocks that seed down to the ground, to the dirt level, and that helps quite a bit, and sometimes it even covers it with just a splash of dirt. So just remember, just depending on what you're dealing with, just remember the better seed to soil contact you're going to get, the better germination. But I think that's it. Those are kind of the main steps. Like I said, I'm about 15-20 minutes into this, and that's about how much daylight I have left too. So I'm gonna get to work. As always, feel free to let me know if you have questions. I'll try to link some of this stuff in the description, and thanks for watching.